You're listening to the Pop Punk Revolution Podcast. Here is your host, Sean Zizi.
All right, welcome to the Pop Punk Revolution Podcast. You may have noticed that Brian isn't here today. He is out mixing and mastering with today's sponsor, Tonality Studio.net. He is out doing those wonderful things. Anyhow, guys, we have a couple of very special guests. Guys, please introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, what band you're in, and where you're from.
Okay, so we're in All Systems Go. We're a pop punk band from Delray, New Jersey. I'm Matt. I play guitar and sing.
Hello, I'm Dean. I play the bass.
All right, so you guys are from Jersey?
Yup, East Coasters.
Very, very nice. Well, we're over here on the West Coast, but it's great to have you on. I've been listening to your guys' music pretty much since I met you guys a long time ago, but I actually went through all of your entire discography before this session we're having here. So, Garden State Skies, tell me a little bit about that.
So that was our first album that we mostly self-recorded. We did send it away to get mixed by somebody else, but we did have those songs mostly written out and stuff in the early days of our band, and even before, some of them before we even started our band. Tofu and 18th Street, and also London Lights. We had those written either in high school or early college before starting the band. So I guess going into recording that album, we just had all those songs ready to go kind of thing, and that was our first record that we basically did mostly ourselves. 18th Street is also one that we had when we were a band in high school, but we had just changed the lyrics to kind of fit college vibes and stuff like that. But yeah, that project was pretty DIY. That was actually before Dean had joined the band. Dean had joined our band in 2019, and he actually auditioned playing along with a couple of those songs.
Oh, wow.
Ironically, I think I like Garden State Skies more than everybody else in the band at this point. I'm the one who listens to it the most, I think.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. I have to tell you, my favorite song off of that album is Former Years, 4 More Years. That one is my favorite one.
That's a Devon track.
A Devon track? Oh, well.
Yes.
Sorry, Matt.
That's okay.
Out of all the songs we've played live, that's the one people have moshed to the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it resonates with your fans as well. I like that one. So
Thank you.
Let's move on. The Waiting Room EP. Tell us a little bit about that.
I can talk about the Waiting Room. When I joined the band in 2019, the Waiting Room was already recorded. As opposed to Garden State Skies, which was kind of an at-home recording project that was put together in the studio afterwards. On the Waiting Room, the guys went into Blue Light Digital Sound in Mount Holly with Jamie Gowell to record it. The Waiting Room, it's got a little bit of a clearer sound than the prior album. The drums are actually all digital, which I didn't know, which I think is amazing, how well it came out in that regard. Like I said, the songs were all recorded, and when I joined All Systems Go, that's when we were working on getting the mixes down and the masters and everything. And the songs are a little more complex, but I love them. I really enjoyed them. The bass lines are hard as hell. So.
What do you mean, going hard, as in awesome, or hard to play?
They are hard to play, but they are also really awesome. I mean, honestly, even the simple songs, I really love the bass lines. Everything Augie wrote was just great. I love the bass lines that he wrote. And then, when it came time for me to write the bass lines for our new songs, I did my best. So.
All right. So they go hard in both ways. All right.
Yeah, the Waiting Room, I feel like the Waiting Room is a good example of because all 6 of the songs on the record sound different from each other. We as a band, we might be pop punk and stuff, but I feel like all 4 of us have different either listening backgrounds or different influences and stuff. I know, Dean, you're since you're classically trained, you majored in performance for bass and stuff like that. You're more, you and Joe are more familiar with traditional that sort of music.
Not only that, but I'm also a huge metalhead, so that's a thing as well.
And then you have like me and Devin, who Devin's more of a Midwest emo type. Like he loves bands like Mom Jeans and Origami Angel, and I'm trying to think more like modern baseball, like that type of vibe. And I'm still into a lot of like metalcore and like kind of like older like Warped Tour, like heavier Warped Tour type bands and stuff like that. So like I feel like the waiting room, even though Augie was in the band, or August Baptista, our original bass player, was in the band when we did record the waiting room, like I feel like that record in and of itself kind of shows a well-roundedness. Like of course all of us listen to pop punk, but I think like we're also like a rock and roll band too. Like I feel like that kind of like has a good mix of like both sounds in it.
Okay. So a lot of that rock and roll stuff I think also translates into your more newer stuff. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I want to make a comment on Dean. You're a classically trained musician. What school do you go to?
I actually went to Rowan for undergrad.
Okay. What's your major?
I majored in upright bass performance classical and also music composition.
Whoa. Okay. I was a music composition major for a little bit as well when I was in college, but I got out of that because I'm a music therapist. That's my job. It was like that's a really hard.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. It's kind of a difficult major to do, but I'm also a classically trained musician as well. So, what are we doing in pop punk, dude? What are we thinking?
Oh, dude, that's awesome though. I was gonna say, I think yeah, the theory and stuff that I learned, it only helped me. I mean, I couldn't have wrote "Don't Let Me Go" without like the weird stuff that I learned as a comp major. But honestly, I think the thing that majoring in music helped me with the most is just like the discipline to like get off my ass and like practice and like fucking show up to rehearsal on time. Like a lot of people like can't do that, and I was bad at that sort of thing until like I started going to school for music, and it's like, wow, like if I screw this up, I will be humiliated in public. So that's kind of what drove me to kind of develop these sort of practice routine that helps me kind of really put my best foot forward when I'm playing with All Systems Go. So
And that public humiliation thing is real with being a music major. It is real. I'm going to tell you that straight up. So if you don't practice, you're going to look like a damn fool, and everyone's going to know it, and everyone's going to talk about it, and you're going to be a pariah yeah. Let's just stop it there. But you know what? Being a bassist and actually showing up, you're already a million times better than everyone else. You're showing up.
I'm sorry to say, but I completely agree with that. you are so right about that, Matthew.
It's a stupid thing. It is so dumb. We've had bassists in the band. We're like my friend. Like we talked about this in our first episode. Like when we talked about Black It Out, our friend, and we had to be like, yo, dude, we can't be doing this because you're not showing up.
Dude, that's the worst when like a musician you're working with is personally accountable to you. Like that's your friend and they still are not like coming through for you. Like I completely understand. That's the worst.
It is the worst.
I was gonna say we kind of had that vibe in high school. There were people that wanted to be involved in our band, and it at first, like, but when we were like dabbling in the idea of starting out, it was just a matter of working with the right people, because like I want to say we started, like, we talked about having like a band like together in like 8th grade, 9th grade, and then just like we just had the wrong people, so that would happen where it would be like, yeah, we're friends and we wanted to do this, but like we all have to like pull our weight and like write stuff and practice and stuff like that. It's not just saying we're in a band or something and it's just like we don't have anything, kind of, you know.
I do know what you mean. So probably the best advice you could give musicians, any musicians, is to what? Do it? Just do it? Like show up and do it?
Yeah, that, and it's like don't like if you're gonna be in a band too, like don't focus. It doesn't have to be perfect from the start. Just, you know, if you're just starting out, then you're just starting out. The whole thing is a learning experience.
That is 100% true. Sorry, Dean. Please.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, in vain with that, don't be so concerned with trying to get a million fans and trying to appeal to the masses. Just like, if you're going to make music, you just got to start by just making the music that you want to make. If you're doing it because you're trying to like get on American Idol and blow up on TikTok, like, it's not going to work out for you.
And you're not going to be happy either. Like,
you know what? I think you guys are right. You're not going to be a happy person if you're just doing it for the clout, right? It's got to be within you. It's got to make yourself happy. gotta make, yeah, you just gotta enjoy what you do, right?
Of course.
All right, I think that's great advice. Show up and do what you love. So, anybody listening, be sure that you're writing the songs you love and you're showing up. So, I have some more questions about the Waiting Room EP. TJ Eckelberg isn't even a real doctor. Now, that title really struck me because it reminded me of, it's from The Great Gatsby, right? The billboard with the eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that relate to the song? Like, so people listening could know more about that and will be more enticed to check it out.
Sure. So that song in and of itself is the best way I could sum it up is when you find out something about a person that makes you see them in such a way where it's like they weren't who you thought they were, kind of thing. And it's been a while. The good thing about like writing for me is like how it says in the lyrics, maybe someday soon I'll finally let this go, kind of thing. Like I've let this whole thing that the song is about go for like I haven't felt like animosity towards like the person that it's talking about in a while, and I really like that, just kind of getting it off of my chest. But in terms of like how the title relates, a lot of the metaphors and stuff kind of relate to how in The Great Gatsby it's like the billboard with the eyes on it is kind of a metaphor for like, I know there's the one like quote that's like God sees everything, but it's also kind of like the thing where it's like I don't want to say there's somebody always watching, but like as it pertains to what the song is about, it's because I found out some shady shit about somebody, but I found out by accident. So I was kind of like a bystander, like kind of like the poster or like the billboard of TJ Eckelberg, like in the background, like in The Great Gatsby, about how like I think it's like Tom Buchanan is like cheating on his wife with like a mistress that works at like the gas station or whatever it is, like kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much just the metaphor. It has a couple of one-liners who would have thought that alcohol like would dry up and turn to ashes, like the Valley of Ashes, like that's mentioned in The Great Gatsby, kind of thing.
Okay. Well, that is phenomenal. I really like that. And I love that you moved on from whoever the song is about. And speaking of songs that are about people, you guys are going to be featured on one of our songs that is called There's Not Enough Penicillin in the World to Save You, Honey, which is about I don't really want to say it, but it's about an ex-girlfriend of mine who was kind of a crappy. I just didn't have a good experience, and I've definitely moved on from it. And Brian was like, "Hey, let's do it again. Let's do it. Let's do this song because it's pop punk and it sounds good. The chorus gets stuck in your head. Let's get somebody to sing on it." And I'm like, "I know just the folks." And thank you guys for being on it, by the way. But
thank you.
I super relate to that sentiment with that song. So thank you guys for being on that as well. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
And I love that song title, by the way. That is like Panic at the Disco, like quintessential. Yeah. There's not enough penicillin in the world to save you, honey. Like, yes.
Thank you.
Long song titles rule.
I agree. That goes back to like early 2000s, like post-hardcore, metalcore scene where, you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about. I'm preaching to the choir. You guys told me earlier you talked about all your older stuff, and you're probably tired of talking about it because everybody wants to ask about it. Sorry.
That's okay. We appreciate it.
We got to get everyone up to speed. We're telling the story of All Systems Go. So let's move on.
We can go in order. Let's start with Homecoming.
Homecoming? Okay. All right. So what is that song about?
So Homecoming is about essentially I had lyrics that during the pandemic when everything was like shut down and stuff, we were still like all kind of writing, but it was more so like writing, at least for me and Devin, since we write like most of the music for All Systems Go, it was more just like writing lyrics, which is something that we weren't used to. Like we normally like write all the music for everything first and then kind of like pair lyrics and stuff to it. But like at the time we were just like, I know we had like more time to practice and stuff, but like coming up with stuff, we just weren't inspired by anything. So to start Homecoming off, I had lyrics that were about being bored with like everything being shut down. And like at the time I was in grad school doing all my courses online. So I was doing like, at the time of Homecoming, I was in like the two hardest courses of like my MBA, which had me doing like 25 hours of homework a week. Like I shit you not, 25 hours a week just stuck in my bedroom doing homework on top of working full time. And the job that I was at, essentially, like I found this out later in the year that like there wasn't any like advancement for me in the actual job, so I felt really, really stuck. And I kind of knew that that was like coming at the time. So this was January 2021. So I had these lyrics that were like really like about being bored with just like living at home still and stuff, and like feeling like I was like kind of stuck. And then like a month later, in our high school classes Facebook group, this one girl posted something about she shared like a post into the group, and it was like, can you believe class of 2013, like our high school reunion or 10-year reunion is in 2 years? And it's like, congratulations to you all on becoming so successful and stuff. And me still like in a lot of student debt and a job that I wasn't happy with, and just being stuck in my room all the time, plus COVID and just being like isolated and stuff, was like, I don't feel successful whatsoever. So like just got this really like bad rush of anxiety. And then I looked at the lyrics that I had. Like I have All Systems Go notebook right here, actually. I looked at the lyrics that I had, and I just kind of added to it. And then eventually that became like, it went from just being like, I'm bored, stuck inside kind of thing. It went from that to being, I'm bored, I'm stuck inside, I'm tired of living in my hometown, and I feel like I'm falling behind in life. And like after seeing that Facebook post, the rest of the song just came together like in like at least a couple days. Lyrically, I feel like the instrumentals didn't come through as quick, because we had actually had another song that we were going to take into the studio, and we actually swapped that one out with Homecoming, because the other one didn't sound like as much of a single, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. So what's the full name of Homecoming?
No One Does Homecoming Like Us. So that's a reference to Delran, New Jersey, which is where we're from. Dean's from Vineland. He joined the band late, but like our band is originally based out of Delran, New Jersey, because we all went to high school and like middle school together.
And by the way, speaking of that, remember how how my high school 10-year reunion was supposed to be this year? They forgot to have it. They just forgot to have one. So maybe that's what you have to look forward to for yours as well.
Oh boy.
Maybe
they just won't have it.
Like I'm listening to No One Does Homecoming Like Us. I'm like, damn, I really feel this. Like, what am I going to say to my old classmates when I meet them? Like, of course, we're all getting by, but none of us are where we thought we would be. Or maybe we are, I'm not sure, but and it just never happened. So, all right, let's see you in 10 more years, I guess. But anyway.
I think it's easier to fall into that trap too, where you feel like maybe you're not where you're supposed to be, but maybe you just are, like, everyone's on their own timeline. Social media makes it really hard to not fall into that comparison trap. So that made writing the lyrics a little easier for me, I guess. But
and not to mention, we make our plans for our future selves when we're like young kids. And if I'm sitting here like in my in my room thinking, oh well, I'm 28, I'm not doing what I thought I was going to be doing. Then I got to remind myself, okay, well, what am I supposed to live my life by the plans of like a 14-year-old? Like if a 14-year-old came up to me and said, hey man, you're not doing too good right now, I'd be like, hey man, fuck you, you're just some little ass kid. Like, what kind of things? So that's what I try to tell myself. We're just doing our best.
Yeah. The title though, No One Does Homecoming Like Us, is a reference to our high school. So during homecoming week for Delran, it's like everything, like classes are always really light. There's like a whole parade at the end of the week where like a ton of alumni come back and stuff, and like the whole town like goes nuts for a whole week essentially. School is always based around like Spirit Week and stuff like that, and it's one of those things where it's like it's a known thing in Burlington County in New Jersey that Delran does homecoming, like we go hard for it and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily like a fuck your hometown kind of song. It's like I like the town itself. Like growing up here was fun, but like being in my like late 20s, it's like I kind of want to get out of my parents' house, like.
A lot of people are going through what you're going through, man. You're going to school, trying to make something out of yourself, but yet you're stuck at your mom and dad's house. And there's no shame in that, because
there isn't now.
Because right now you're in grad school, and that is really hard to earn a living, especially with the housing market nowadays. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, we go from talking about pop punk and all that stuff to talking about, how the world is right now. So I am sorry you're putting up with that. You're living this, but it's going to get better. You're going to get a job. You're going to be able to move out and have your own place, and you're going to look back at that song and think, man, that's where I was at during 2021.
Just an update. I feel a lot better now because I had graduated. Like at this point, that was at the beginning of 2021. This is what, a year and a half later.
Yeah.
I graduated, got my MBA, and now I'm working a job in a field that I studied like in college. Like I studied marketing in college, and now I'm working for like one of the like a really good company in like Philadelphia. So like, it only just took a little bit of time, but.
Okay, well, congratulations. See, it's a success story. It's a success
John's
story.
prediction came true in 5 seconds. That's how spot on he was. He called it, and then that was like, actually, that is happening.
I'm a prophet. No, I'm playing, of course. But you know what I like about what you said with the song? That it's not a screw my hometown song. So it's not a basic pop punk song that's like, my hometown sucks. You know, like every pop punk band has at least one of those. So I think that's great. And it sounds like a song that was reflecting on what you're going through. And it's amazing that you've lived through it. You made it through, and here you are now, dude. Congratulations. So that's great. I'm super happy to see that. I'm happy for you, man. I really am.
Thank you.
So what do we want to talk about next? Which song?
The one where they ride off into the sunset.
Oh, yes.
In my opinion, at the moment, this is our most underrated song because of the new singles. It has the least plays, but this song is really near and dear to us. I think of the 3 singles that have come out so far, this one's got like the riffs, like the lead guitar parts that really like get us going. It's got the biggest like classic rock sound of all of them. Like whenever like any like my uncles or something like, hey, send me some music from your band. Sunset is the song I always send them. Devin wrote it about his engagement to his fiance. We all love them as a couple as well, and it always makes us feel extra special when Riley's in the crowd and we get to play the song for her. So 'cause she knows it's about her. So
Yeah.
It's in drop D. The bass line is freaking awesome. It's got a nice little riff during the bridge, I'd say once that chorus hits in Sunset, that's like yes, this is like so.
I was gonna say the chorus is where it's at in that song. Like I absolutely adore that one, and that's one of my favorite songs from you guys. Your 3 most recent singles are my absolute favorite from you guys, because I feel like you guys have really come into your own, songwriting, lyrically, musically, everything, and I feel like even your production value's gone up quite a bit. Is that all you got to say about Sunset?
We could talk a little bit more about it. I mean, like, yeah, Devin wrote all the lyrics and stuff for Riley. They're actually, the reason Devin can't be on this podcast right now, he's actually going over like wedding plans and stuff with Riley's dad right now, which is kind of cool.
So he's actually getting married.
Yeah.
To the girl he wrote about in the song.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm trying to think, because we recorded that one. He knew. Like, when we were writing this song, he knew at the time, like, he told us, he was like, I'm going to ask her, like, I don't know when yet, but, like, I'm going to ask her. And then all of a sudden, he got the ring. And then I think he popped the question a week after we were in the studio, because it was around we were in the studio in May 2021, I think, like, 3rd week of May or something like that. And then his birthday is the following week, and I think they went, like, down to the shore or something like that. And then that was the time that he popped the question. I was like, good. Cool.
Wow. Well, if you're listening, Devin, congratulations, dude. Congratulations.
They're really like a match made in heaven, like Dean had said before.
Wow, that's awesome.
They're perfect for each other.
What was that?
They are perfect for each other.
Okay, well, that's great. That's wonderful to hear. That's very positive. That's great. So who are the people that are in your music video for that song, by the way, that couple?
Oh, our friends Chris and Guinevere, they're in a group together called Afton. They play like acoustic folk pop.
Oh, so they're in a band too.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And they're together?
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be kind of weird if they're all like hugging and kissing and stuff and they're not together. I mean, I guess not. Well, I mean, actors do it all the time, right?
But it made them actually like being a couple made it easier for Ryan, our videographer, to direct them in the video.
So it wasn't as awkward. Well, very
yeah,
good.
no.
Very good. Okay, so your latest single, it's called Don't Let Me Go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so want to talk a little bit about that one?
I wrote "Don't Let Me Go." It is probably like the first like serious song I ever wrote. I wrote it back in 2017. And it was kind of like a conglomeration of like all like the best ideas I had for songs at the time. It's about being able to rely on your friends when you're going through a dark place. What happened in 2017? I got out of a bad breakup. Like I was kind of like not sure like who my friends were and stuff like that. So that's when I wrote "Don't Let Me Go," and it was kind of on the shelf for a while. I was in another band called Burn More. It was through them that I met All Systems Go because we played a show together. Burn More used to play "Don't Let Me Go," albeit a more poppy rendition of the song. When I took it to All Systems Go, I was like, look, I don't know if this song is going to be right for us. Like, no big deal if not. Let's just, give it a try. And when we all listened to it, we were like, we could really make this work for the band. And, with Matt and Dev and Joe's help, we pop punkified it. And then with the help of our producer, Nick Bruzzese from Man Overboard, who we recorded with at Gradwell House in Haddon Heights. That was all three of these most recent singles, by the way. We really helped the song reach its full potential. So, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to write it if I didn't go to school for music because there's a little bit of like music-y, major-y stuff in there. Like the verse is in B major and the chorus is in E flat major, which is not like a thing you might normally do. And the transition might sound a little ear-catching if you're not expecting it. Like that's like a thing that I kind of like did on purpose, and we use like that B sus chord to transition between the two. Let me think. When we play "Don't Let Me Go" live, I play fingerstyle. I don't play with the pick. And yeah.
Okay. That song has a lot of phenomenal lines in there that are like really, really iconic. Did you write the lyrics as well?
I wrote pretty much all the lyrics. Matt helped out with a couple lines that really helped kind of get it to where it is today. Uh, and then the lead guitar parts Matt brought, and that really helped spice up the song as well.
All right, so it's nice and spicy. Thank you, Matt. Thank you for that. I think that song is really good and very, very catchy, and it is like got some lines that are just in there that you could easily put on a T-shirt, or something like that. I don't know, but I dig it. So good job, guys. And what's up with the frog imagery? Like, you guys have what's up with the frog? Like, how does that relate?
That was Devin's idea.
Okay.
He had like,
yeah.
I think it was his aunt, like took like his aunt's a photographer, so like she just had a bunch of pictures, and he just went through them. He was like, and for the cover art, I had an idea where it was like kind of like hands like reaching out, like grabbing each other like from the side kind of thing, like across the cover. But like we didn't want to make it like too like not serious, not serious, but like
Corny?
attic, I guess.
Ah.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was this picture of this frog that was like literally it was like rain on a window and like looking in through a window kind of thing, like it says in the song.
The drawing on the cover art was a photo.
Oh. Okay.
Yes, it was originally a photo, and this girl that we went to high school with, Sydney, who is a great artist. She does a bunch of different styles and stuff. We had different people work on the cover art for the first two, and we were like, I feel like this style of whatever this cover art needs to be a little bit different and kind of more like animated in a way. So that's how we landed. Devin really liked the picture of the frog, and we kind of just rolled with that.
Okay, so that's how that worked out. I was like, why is there a frog for this? Don't let me go. Like, don't.
Looking in through a window or a door, or looking out their window,
Got it. Makes sense now. Makes a lot of sense now. And Dean's on the move. Where you going, Dean? He got himself on mute. He can't do anything about it. I could say all the nasty things I want about him right now.
I can hear you.
I know, but you can't talk.
But I won't be able to defend myself. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the point. Yeah.
So, let's go to a quieter spot.
What's that?
Oh, I just moved to a quieter spot. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Very respectful. I appreciate it. So let's see. What else we got to talk about? What about your live shows? You guys have been doing a whole bunch of those lately. So tell me more about that.
So live shows. I mean, we used to. I feel like it's getting harder and stuff now, just because like all four of us work full time and stuff. And Joe actually lives out in Central PA, and he's the teacher during the year. So like, we try to load up our. We've always done this as a band because like, actually, since Joe is the youngest out of all of us. So when we started the band, I was a senior in college and he was a sophomore. So he still had like 2 years left to go. So we've always been like a summer and winter type of band where we will always like load up our like try to play as many shows as we possibly can in the summer and winter. And I feel like that kind of helps in a way. Like we don't get burnt out, just from playing too much, or like it's not too much of like a time commitment kind of thing if we spread shows out and stuff. But yeah, we've always like done that in such a way where it's kind of spaced out. And more recently, we've kind of settled on like, okay, we're going to like focus on either like weekenders or we're just going to do at least like one show a month kind of thing. Because really like, especially coming out of the pandemic, having developed like, I guess, better skills in like being like content creators since everything was like just digital for a while. And like everything was all virtual and stuff. Like once we hit the stage, again in 2021 after everything shut down, the first few shows we played, we had actually, okay, so before everything shut down, we were playing to like maybe like shows were getting bigger once we released the waiting room, but we were playing to maybe like 30 to maybe max 50 people like in a venue. So depending on what room it was in, it would be like either really packed or like wouldn't be that many people there. Like it was like a hit or miss kind of thing, though. Like overall shows were getting bigger. The first show that we played back, so now moving on to like, okay, post pandemic up until now, starting in 2021, in June 2021, we played Harper's Pub in Clementon, New Jersey, which is the like our home base venue essentially, and we had like 90 people go to that first show.
Wow.
And yeah, and every show that we played since then has either been like a full room, a packed room, or just like there's been some shows where we're playing there won't be like that many people. But basically like everything's gotten like so much. We've like grown since coming back through the pandemic, and I feel like that's a testament to how like we were able to just like keep creating content and stuff, and like our band survived the pandemic. And like in Jersey there was so many, like the scene isn't nearly as oversaturated now as it was, because I feel like before the pandemic everything like Dean, like like every there would be like so many shows going on in a single week that it's like bands wouldn't be able to support each other in the same way because it's like everybody's playing music and stuff. And the pandemic definitely showed that like only the strong survive kind of thing, and I'm glad we were able to make it through like the worst of it and stuff. But yes, 2021 onward, like shows, like we've been playing to bigger audiences. This year specifically, we've been opening for like all these like mid-tier and like up and coming bands. Like in February, we opened up for Don't Panic and Keep Flying. Don't Panic's touring with they're the opening band for Less Than Jake and Bowling for Soup right now that they're doing, like for the tours that they're doing. Keep Flying's also getting a lot of opportunities and stuff like that too. We recently at Harper's, opened for Driveways. They're like popping off.
Who?
Driveways.
Driveways. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so we've opened for Driveways and Goalkeeper this year too as well. This month on July 24th, we're opening for Calling All Captains in Atlantic City. And we recently played AC Beer Fest on the acoustic stage where 4 Years Strong and Newfound Glory were headlining, so that was also pretty cool.
Whoa. Well, congratulations. It sounds like people were jonesing for some All Systems Go, baby.
And I will say Matt books our shows, so that's all a testament to his masterful booking abilities that we were able to open for, Goalkeeper and Driveways and, Newfound Glory and 4 Years Strong, and now Calling All Captains coming up and that thing. So, yeah. I was also going to say, like what Matt said about not everybody making it through as bands through the pandemic, I think that's like a thing that I think about a lot. It's like, like we're very fortunate that we were able to keep doing music because a lot of people a lot of people were not able to just keep doing music after like not doing it for a year or whatever. So the fact that we're able to come through the other end and come out stronger. And I think is like, it's a big blessing for us.
Well, I'm glad you guys made it. That's really amazing. And Matt booking all the shows. It's that MBA. That MBA's gotten you to
right.
get those people to listen to you. They're all like, "Whoa, this guy's like a business guru. We need to listen to him. We need to get his band on here now." So that's awesome. Congratulations, guys. You guys
Try to
are
write the best emails I can.
well. I mean, it sounds like your schooling paid off. I mean, you were telling me earlier, like, man, that was tough, man. I wasn't enjoying it. Look at it pay off. Look at that. Good for you. I'm happy to see you guys doing well. So I have a few more questions. So what is up with your logo, the little bird with the helmet on?
I love Spanky the Sparrow.
That's the name,
Spanky the
Sparrow. Okay. So tell me about Spanky the Sparrow.
I have Devin's mom made a stuffed animal version of him. Hold on,
Show us.
My girlfriend does not like Spanky the Sparrow. She thinks he's ugly.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of his charm, isn't it? I love him. Oh, he's so cool.
I love that ugly little boy.
Oh, let us see the profile. Turn him so we can see the profile.
Yeah, show us the side, yeah.
Side view. Oh, yeah, dude. That is phenomenal.
Get his legs at the bottom.
Oh, I love it. Dude, you guys need to like mass produce that, sell it. I think at least one person will buy it.
I will. I'll buy them all.
Buy them all. I love it. So his name is Spanky. So what is that about? Where'd he come from?
So we were like, I'm trying to think, because like when we were making a logo originally, we couldn't like think. We wanted to have like a symbol or something. Like, you know how the Wonder Years have like Hank the Pigeon kind of thing. I'm pretty sure that's where it came from.
Yeah.
Because the earliest that I can remember of like we should have like a mascot kind of thing was Devin screenshotting like the anniversary edition of the Upsides, where it's like the original like Hank the Pigeon, like kind of like an animated version of him like slumped, and then you get the real version of Hank the Pigeon like on the cover of Suburbia by the Wonder Years too. So we were like maybe like an animal or something like that, and then after seeing like the Wonder Years and their mascot, it was just kind of like a bird seems like it'd be kind of easy because all systems go. Like give it like a bird with a space helmet on with this thing, the microphone on it too, kind of thing. So then I drew him first off, and then we had a local artist, Josh Carter, kind of like convert it to digital. So we've been using like it's literally this. I think there's only been like one or two variations of Spanky the Sparrow and like any type of like other like any pose and stuff. But it's always been like this, like the same, like it's always been the same bird on like everything, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
The same like wings, like flap, like eyes crossed kind of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel like that like we put them on a shirt, like there you could probably find it on like Instagram or on on our Bandcamp and our merch store. There's like the just like the outline of the logo in like orange on a black shirt for like we originally sold that like around like October in the fall. But yeah, I feel like it's easy to incorporate him into things too. Because especially like when I like making show flyers that incorporate all the different bands' logos that make it look like all the logos are like friends with each other. So like our friends in the band Sweet Echo, they have a couple different like caricatures, I guess, where like their main like theme of a band is like they kind of have like a spooky emo type of sound. So a lot of their like imagery revolves around like skeletons, and like they have a song called Fried Rice, that it's like it's like the imagery of our friend and his girlfriend, like they like just like sitting down and like having like couch dates and eating Chinese food together. So the song's called Fried Rice. So they have like a logo on one of their shirts where it's like a jack-o'-lantern and like a grim reaper like robe eating a thing of fried rice. So like I'll put that on a show flyer that we're playing with them, and like Spanky the Sparrow will be like flying on that flyer like next to them, and it'll look like the logos are kind of friends. So it's like that thing where it's like easy to incorporate him into things. It's easier to put him on like merch and stuff like that too. So yeah.
Okay, so the helmet is a space helmet.
No.
Okay.
It's like a fighter pilot helmet. It's supposed to be like a fighter pilot helmet.
Do you ever sleep with that bird, and does he make you feel safe when you do?
I mean, he makes me feel safe being in my bedroom, but no,
I would trust Spanky the Sparrow with my life.
Well, maybe Dean needs him.
I don't know.
Actually, we have like 200 stuffed animals in my apartment, so that's a no-go from me. I'm vetoing that right now.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Sorry.
He's in the. He's not made of the same material that like squishy or like stuffed animals are, so I don't think he'd be really like comfortable to like cuddle with. Plus, he's kind of like kind of still like glued together, so he's kind of fragile. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he's not a cuddle buddy. All right. Got it. No cuddle buddy there. I guess we should conclude this. What's coming up next for All Systems Go?
So this month, we have The Waiting Room being pressed to vinyl for the first time through Otitis Media Records. This will be our first time working with a label on anything for us. Shout out to Chris and Noah from OMR for giving us the opportunity to put the record out on vinyl. We have 2 shows coming up. One in Morristown, New Jersey, which is the next town over from us at Perkins Art Center. Outdoor. Bring a blanket, lawn chair, BYOB. It'll be a fun time. And then we're opening for Calling All Captains that same weekend on the 24th in Atlantic City at Bore. And then later this year, you can expect All Systems Go's second album, LP2. With these 3 singles that we talked about in this podcast, plus 5 more songs.
Oh, what's it going to be called?
We know what it's going to be called, and we know what the art is going to be called, but we're holding that off.
Oh, you're not going to tell us. You're not going to reveal it on the Pop Punk Revolution. Okay, I see what it's like, Matt.
Once you stop recording, I can reveal it, but I'm not going to reveal it on the... We're keeping it a secret for now.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to pop back on and be like, guess what, guys? They told me. I know. And I'm putting it on. I'm not doing that to you. I'm messing.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
Exactly. No one would trust Black It Out. Black It Out will be like the enemy of all secrets in music. I wouldn't do that. I'm just messing. I just wanted to make you all laugh. But wow, when's it coming out? You have a release date?
We don't have a hard release date. We want it to come out in the fall. We've just got like a few of our mixes back for the other songs, so we're going through like the mixing process and stuff now.
Wow, okay. Well, that's big news. I'm really happy to hear that because I'm actually looking forward to some more All Systems Go. Like, when everybody started coming to your shows and more people started coming to your shows, they were jonesing for All Systems Go. I'm jonesing for All Systems Go. So,
thank you.
That's amazing. Phenomenal. Love it. So is there anything more we need to talk about for All Systems Go, or did we cover everything?
I think we covered everything, Dean.
Yeah, I'm glad we got into the Spanky the Sparrow lore a little bit.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know because I saw that bird. I'm like, what the heck is that? I love it because it's memorable, right? It's memorable. I've looked at that bird. I was like, I know what band that is when I see that bird.
Yes. If I could just add one more thing, I think I would say the fact that we're putting out an album, an LP, that is that really makes me happy because we in the band, we all like to listen to albums. I know it's a very instant gratification, a very single-centric market out there. But, we talked at the beginning of the show about making the music that you want to make. I think us recording 8 whole songs and putting out a record instead of just doing singles all the time, that's like our epitome of making the music that we want to make. So, we're all 100% invested in this. Like, this is like the music that we want to make, that we want to hear. And I'm just glad that we're able to do that we have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I know there's like a kind of a formula now where it's like, okay, so we have 8 songs, right? We put the 3 out. We did like a 6-week cycle of content and stuff for each of those 3 songs and stuff like that. And like now I feel like there's this like formula of, okay, if you have an album, then you're going to do that 8 times. You know what I mean? But we're like one that's never been us, and that's also like not us. Like we don't really have the patience, I guess, to do that like for a whole year of like 8 songs, and then all of a sudden it's just like you get to the 8th one and it's like, oh yeah, this is our album. Like it just doesn't seem as special kind of thing. Plus I feel like the way once you hear the album, you'll see how well all 8 of these songs kind of fit together, especially with like the title that we have and stuff like that. and it's just the whole, and you don't see that too much anymore, aside from maybe like bands at the top of the industry where it's like here's a record, here is a whole record. You know what I mean? Like locally, you don't see that anymore. It's more of like single and then the next single and then the next single, and then it's like, oh, then we have an EP coming out, where it's those three that you just put out plus like the last one or something like that. Like I'm not talking down to it because I'm sure that works, but it's just not us. You know what I mean? And like Dean said, like we want to do what we want to do.
And that's important. That goes back to the advice you gave. Put out the music you want to put out, and be true to yourself. I think that's the theme of your advice to any band. Be true to you, correct?
I would say so, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, all systems go. They say, be you, do you, boo-boo. So, you gotta do it. So that's it.
Woohoo!
So, yeah.
All right, woohoo! I want to say thank you guys for coming on the Pop Punk Revolution podcast. It was wonderful having you. You guys are awesome. You guys have done a lot of great things. And I'm glad you survived the pandemic. I'm glad you, Matt, have really come into your own. And I'm glad you as a band have really come into your own. So keep up the great work. I look forward to that album coming fall 2022, correct?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Everybody, thank you guys so much for checking out the Pop Punk Revolution podcast. And to all you emo kids, elder emos, pop punk kids, whatever you identify as, keep on rocking. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for checking out the Pop Punk Revolution. Goodbye.